I am here, itchy and all, but getting better. So let's see if y'all can hear me, see me, do whatever. As I forgot to shut my volume off. So let's fix that real fast. And that looks good. Do. Okay, now you guys shouldn't hear any crap on the screen. Here comes my screen. Jacob says 5x5. 5x5. Robert. Smartass. All right. Good to see you guys didn't miss a beat while I was gone. Thank you all for being patient and giving me Saturday off. Here it was. As you can still see, I've still got traces of this crap on my face. But fortunately, I got the Prednisone right off the get-go, and so got it out pretty good, but it kind of waxed the last few days of my time with my daughter here. So she went home yesterday, but fortunately missed all the weather, so she got home safely, so that was all good. But it was a good time. So we had Christmas number 2 while she was here and had some fun. So, all right. So it's been an interesting couple of days, I guess, if you will. I mean, I'd say since Saturday, but we didn't talk on Saturday, so I get the feeling we got a lot more to cover. A couple of topics that I figure is going to come up tonight are the flight cancellations, or what the grounding of planes or whatever out on the West Coast because of North Korea. That was an interesting scenario all of a sudden. I guess for about 5 to 7 minutes, there was a ground stop out west because North Korea had launched a missile that they claim could get up to Mach 10. They're saying it's a hypersonic missile, but that's yet to be proven. I still get a kick out of the fact that, a country that hardly anybody has indoor plumbing has a hypersonic missile. But, hey, we know how they spend their money. It sure as hell ain't on the people, what little money they've got. But, gee, I wonder if, that big country right next door might have had something to do with that one. What a question. Let's see what else you got. You had the story that came out about the Special Forces training going on in North Carolina next week. And again, I'm going to say this, that's nothing new, guys. They do this all the time. So I've participated in other things like that with urban combat, and that was 30 years ago. So, there's a couple of things out in the news that damn well there's going to be fear-mongering going on, and the training going on in rural North Carolina with the military and special forces and stuff like that. That's nothing to concern yourself with. That is normal. Okay. The other one that came out today, I'm actually going to go in depth on in the morning. I've already recorded the video, but that is on the domestic terrorism unit that the Department of Justice has created. And all I'm going to tell you guys on this one, you'll see the video in the morning. We don't have to get into it because that's got more detail. But don't lose any sleep over this one, guys. There's way too many people out there trying to make more of it than it is. It's domestic terrorism. All that basically means is terrorism on U.S. soil. It does not mean that, now that you are a member of the church up the street and this administration doesn't like that particular religion, that you're now a domestic terrorist. That's not what this law means. And I kind of go into exactly what the law says, rather than what the fear-mongering out there says. Not that it's can't be, again, I'm going to discuss this tomorrow, but not that it can't be interpreted in many different ways, but don't freak out about it, okay? If you're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong. If you're not doing something wrong, you got nothing to worry about. Let's put it this way. So, all right. Other than that, I'm betting a whole lot of you are like me, and now that the holidays are over, you are itching to get your hands in the dirt. You guys know I got my onions planted. They're finally coming up. This time, I think last year was bad seeds because my onion tray is full of little half-inch little sprouts right now, so that's good. Got my sweet potatoes started, so but again, that'll take a few months to get slips going that are big enough. So if you're looking at growing sweet potatoes, now's the time to get your sweet potatoes started, to get your slips growing. I did a video on last year how to do it, kind of like how you do the avocado seed. you can do it that way, or you can put them in a pan of dirt. Either way works. But if you got any questions on the gardening stuff, there is the whole gardening playlist, guys, on the main channel. You can go look at our playlist, and there's gardening. And if you're new to the channel, I'd suggest going in there, especially this time of year, because there's a lot of videos in there that'll show you how to save a boatload of money. All right, so stuff like that. Okay, and as Mama Prep says, I can't plant for several months yet. I can't either. I mean, my stuff won't hit the ground until, I mean, the peas, the cabbage, and the onions will go in mid-March, late March, but most everything else doesn't go in till the end of April. But some of the stuff, you need to get started now because they take a while. But okay, we'll get in there. Yeah. And somebody's mentioning garlic there. Yeah, my garlic went in on Thanksgiving, and I mean, it's 6 inches high and survived the teens weather and the snow and everything fine. I was out there today. It's back in the 50s here today. So, all right. So that being it, greetings to everybody. And then, of course, my fabulous moderators, Lorna, who I won't forget this time, Robert, Jacob, Lucky Damon, North Shore. So see, I got y'all. not having a brain fart. But get into everything as per normal. This is all Q&A for you guys tonight. So we got lots of stuff to talk about. I'm assuming that you guys have questions on. We'll see what I've got in the way of answers for you. Like I said, if you've got a question directed to me, please put it in all caps. That shouldn't be anything new to anybody who's ever done a live stream on YouTube. It's pretty much standard fare. But please, I encourage you guys to have conversations amongst each other. Moderators, I also encourage you guys to put up links to other channels that have good information out there. I mentioned Konstantin's video, Inside Russia, this afternoon. I've talked about a lot of them. I try to put the links in, but some people don't see them sometimes. But, North Shore's channel, Lucky Dame's channel. I mean, Prepper Now, Angry Prepper, Prepper Nurse 1, Magic Prepper, Alaska Prepper, TJ Preps. I mean, God knows there's a whole bunch of them that you can get a lot of good information out there. You just got to figure out which ones you enjoy watching to and feel you get something out of, and which ones you don't. I mean, there's plenty of channels out there I don't get anything out of, so I don't watch them. There's others I get tons of stuff out of, so I watch them. But every one of our situations is different. So, just because it's not a channel I watch doesn't mean it's not a good channel. It just may not be pertinent to me. Okay. Angry Prepper, I love Jason to death. We're good friends, but his prepping and my prepping are completely different. He's in New York City and I'm in the middle of nowhere. So, we prep completely different, but still doesn't mean we don't get things from each other, just as an example. Or, Rudy in Alaska, okay? I'm not dealing with 2 feet of snow all the time like he is or whatever, but you still can get good things out of him. So, mods, feel free to, put anything in there that, of good channels, just to share some of the good ones out there. All I ask of you guys is keep it clean. PG-13 is kind of what we look for around here. Okay. I mean, your teenagers are going to have heard the language I use occasionally. Your 6-year-old, probably not. Okay. So, just keep it away, keep that in mind. And again, as I've said to everybody, this is a family-friendly channel. Okay. We all treat each other as family, not the crazy Uncle Joe type family, but the family that you want to sit down and have dinner with. I don't want to see any name calling, any harassing of each other. God knows no trolls. And the moderators, they all know well, they're on strict marching orders. We don't do 300-second timeouts here. We just toss you. Okay. If you want to spend time with everybody here and try to learn something, that's great. That's what we want you for. If you came here to be a pain in the ass, okay, go somewhere else. There's plenty of channels that love to have trolls. This ain't one of them. Okay. And we just get rid of them. So, that being said, I will run to the top, go through questions as quick as I can. Some take a little longer to answer. Some are real quick. I try to get to everything. I do not skip anybody's question unless I've already answered it, or it's one of the taboo subjects on YouTube, which is talking about November of 2020, talking about climate change, or talking about our juice, shoulder juice. Let's put it that way. Those I will stay away from unless they are very close. The channel is finally down to no strikes again. 2 days ago, the last one expired. So believe it or not, I have no strikes, which I haven't had in 9 months. So that's kind of interesting. But I've been a good little boy. So let's get to the top, see what you guys want to talk about, and we will go from there. So Ace Maduro up here. Lori Lightfoot tested positive. I tried shedding a tear of sorrow. I tried, and only tears of laughter came. Yeah, I got a kick out. Lori Lightfoot tested positive. AOC tested positive. That was kind of funny. After all the crap she took for going down to Florida and, sitting there with her Mai Tai or whatever out there with her boyfriend and then going to the drag queen bar or whatever it was. And she comes back with COVID, it's like, oh, okay. So, maybe, that's karma biting you in the ass, lady. But good, let's see. North Alabama hiking. Pinball, tell us the truth about the cause of your swollen eyes. You smarted off to Mrs. Pinball. Just kidding. No. They cut down some cherry trees, and my daughter and I went to get some cherry trees. I gave her the gloves because being nice, and so I used my bare hands and didn't know that there was poison ivy sap or something on the trees. And of course or poison oak or poison sumac or whatever the hell it was, but one of those. And that was it, because it was the only place I could possibly get it, because it was the only place I was outside in nature at all, if you will. I'm not going to get it from inside my car or inside Walmart. And I know very well what poison ivy feels like. I was like, crap, I think I got it. By the next morning I woke up, I was like, yep, I got poison ivy. So I got prednisone and Benadryl and aspirin, and that and hot showers doing me well. So, but almost gone. It's funny because my right eye looks worse. My left eye actually feels worse. So, but hey, I'll give it a couple more days and I'll be done. Fortunately, it's a very limited just to my ears and my face, because it's cold. So I had coat on and pants and everything like that. So I didn't get it all over my body. So that was good. C.E. Gann, is there a natural alternative to prednisone? That stuff makes me crazy jittery, can't sleep. There is a salve, and I mentioned it to you guys once before, that Mrs. Mountaintop Prepper made, that is from plantain, okay? It's basically a weed you're going to find in your yard. And she had made a salve out of it that is, I haven't used it for poison ivy, but I've used it for like mosquito bites and stuff like that. Put that stuff on it, and within a couple hours, the mosquito bite didn't itch anymore. I figured, okay, I'm on the prednisone. I'm not going to start messing with salves around my eyes. That's the hard part here, and I thank you all for all the suggestions between, tea bags and cucumbers, and I did use cold packs on my eyes, but, hemorrhoid cream and Vagisil and all that sort of stuff, and baking soda, bleach. I mean, I've heard of every one of them. Okay. Some work better, witch hazel, anything. I've tried everything, alcohol, you name it. Throughout my life, I've tried everything. This time I couldn't do anything because the last thing I want is any of that stuff in my eyes. Having poison ivy is a lot better than being blind. So bleach in my eyes would not go well. Okay, let's see. Johnny Finance, the CPI number comes out tomorrow morning. Could be an interesting day in the market. Bonds, metals. Yeah, that's going to be real interesting. And I haven't looked to see what the market's calling for, but I sure as hell don't see us being any better than that 6.8, because things are still getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I mean, we're still seeing shortages in the grocery stores. You guys send me dozens of pictures daily of that. And the prices of nothing's going down. And, now that they're talking, we get 750,000 people a day getting Omicron and all this sort of stuff, production's going to go down. So prices are inevitably going to go up. So you're going to probably see inflation go up again, which is going to spook the markets, which should work. Markets go down, precious metals go up, bonds will probably go up. You guys know I'm watching the bond market very closely because breaking 175, which we did yesterday, that starts getting worrisome. And of course, the Fed's not going to say anything about it. The government's not going to say anything about it. But now you start watching two, and two is the panic point on the 10-year. Let's see, where are we? Mama preps for most of my stuff can't go in until after the first week of June. You must live way up north. So yeah, if not Canada. Okay, let's see. A Acushnet Prepper, 9 degrees in Massachusetts. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say it was pushing. It was probably in the low 50s here today. It was out. Mrs. P and I got out and actually had to burn some old paperwork, which was nice. All the old paperwork that we needed, piles of it. Okay, we literally had a boot box. Okay, think of a pair of boots, how the shoe box that would come in, full of all the documentation that we had to have to get her citizenship. Okay, and she got her citizenship last summer. And so it was like, okay, we got to get rid of this, but there's her social security number, my social security number, stuff all over all this sort of stuff. So it's like, okay, the only way we're getting rid of this is burn it. We took it out today and burned it. So that was it. Garden Lady, best time to plant eggplant. Having issues last year, failed total. Eggplant needs warm weather, okay? Eggplant needs soil temperatures up at least about 60 degrees or so. It's going to be one of the later plants that you plant. If I look at and I don't know what zone you're in, but for me, okay, and I'm in zone 6B, so almost zone 7. Eggplant doesn't go in till the beginning of May. So it's one of your later planted, one of the last things you're going to plant. You're putting your eggplant out in the garden the same time you're putting your tomatoes out. Okay, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, all nightshades. They all need warm weather. A frost will smoke them. So if you can start them earlier in the house and get them in decent sized pots, you're going to be good. But then you've got to have either a good sunny window to keep them going, or grow lights or whatever, and eggplants will grow. And I mean, if all of a sudden you've got a foot tall plant, in your house, however many you're going to grow, you got to remember how much space you have to keep that plant going, because you can't put it outside, at least central U.S. here, until the beginning of May. If you're north of me, you may be looking beginning of June. Pet Prep Radio Show. Hey, Pinball, first here, Patriot Nurse. Wow. Royalty has arrived. Hello. Warfox, can we store dry beans in Ziploc freezer bags for long term? Yes. Still put them in a 5-gallon bucket. Mylar bags are going to be better. Okay. You're still going to want to use oxygen absorbers for them, because again, you're trying to preserve them for long term, and you don't want anything getting to them. So they need to be in somewhere dark, no sunlight. Okay, so that kind of defeats the Ziploc bag, why you need to put it in a bucket. And then, getting in your house, I mean, if you get a mouse in a house, mouse going to go right through plastic bag. So yes, you can do it, but still put them in a bucket and still put a oxygen absorber in there. If you can vacuum seal it, do that. That would work well. But again, still best way for beans is going to be a Mylar bag in a bucket. Apocalyptic Lake Fairy. Hope I'm feeling better. Yes, I am. I'm hopefully a couple more days and I'll be back to totally normal here. But I'm one shower a day now after, mid-afternoon, because my eyes will start tearing up again. But that's about it. Let's see what else we got. Cody B, anything on the Supreme Court vax mandate? Not that I have heard. We will probably hear something on that this week. My guess is you know how this one works. Friday afternoon, okay, is when that's my guess. I have nothing to back that up with. They're saying, you know how it is, Friday afternoon is usually where they try to bury news, and so nobody has to deal with it for a couple of days. That would be my guess. We'll see what happens. Catgirl66, anyone order emergency antibiotics from Jace? Not me. I'm not even sure. I think that's the place, but I know there's somebody that's talked about fish mocks and stuff like that to get it from. I think they were out. If it was Jace, the same one, I'm not sure. American Trucker, also Big Rig Diesel is back on the rise rapidly. I haven't been into town here since Saturday, so I haven't seen what the price of diesel was, but I know diesel was about 30 cents more expensive here than gasoline. And I mean, that's the stuff in a gas station. I mean, I'm no truck stop around here, so I can see what that is. But yeah, I mean, as diesel prices go up, so do food prices, so does everything else. Prices go up, and you know, again, there goes right into your CPI. CPI is, you know, Consumer Price Index, what we are paying for a product. Sue S., do I like Managonite fertilizer? I do not know what it is. I've never heard of it. So I can't answer. Leah, my grow bags arrived today. Going to try sweet potatoes this year in bags. How big are the bags? Because the reason I ask is sweet potatoes are a vine. It's not like Commander. Thank you very much for the super chat there. Buy a lot of Benadryl at that point. Yes, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Sweet potatoes are a vine, and it's not like regular potatoes where you get everything right under the potato. You know, sweet potatoes will grow out. When I plant my sweet potatoes this year, I'm going back. I think I told you I'm going to do them in straw bales again because I did it in the soil last year and I did not get nearly as good. I did squat last year, but I get great results out of straw bales. So I'm going to do it in straw bales again. So I'll show you how to do that this year, which is real easy. And actually, the way I'm going to do it, it'll benefit the rest of my garden. I don't know. And again, I've never done sweet potatoes in bags. I just don't think you're going to have the space because, I mean, I know those bags, they're usually, you know, 12, 15 inches wide. That's about it. That's not big enough for sweet potatoes because, I mean, I'll get sweet potatoes that are bigger than that. So, excuse me, if there's other channels that say you can do it, go for it. I've never tried it. It just doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Joanne Riley, with a lot of stuff getting in short supply, should a person with pets be stocking up on flea meds? Yes, but I'm going to give you another idea as well. Okay. You know, you get your flea and tick. I mean, the stuff we use the stuff you squeeze in the dog's back. Was it Pet Armor Plus or something like that? Use that. But eventually that stuff's going to no longer be around. A lot of us use diatomaceous earth for our gardens to kill bad bugs in the gardens, ants, roaches, you know, whatever would be. Diatomaceous earth is also something, if you get the food grade stuff, is also something that you can use like a flea powder on your dog that will kill the fleas. Okay. So not only is that worth having for your garden for organic pest control, if you will, but it is also good for your dog for organic flea and tick prevention. It's a lot cheaper than the trying to stock up on flea and tick stuff, because I think the stuff, the Pet Armor, which I think is the cheaper version of, what is it, Next Guard or something like that, is still what, about $6 a dose or $7 a dose, something like that each month. You know, how much you want to spend on that. So, I mean, I do, but in a pinch, in an SHTF situation, I know I've got the DE and that'll work well. Cushnet Prepper says, Martha's Vineyard. I have no idea what the context is. Let's see. Do. Oh, okay. You must be talking back and forth with somebody there who's in Massachusetts. Okay. Oh, looks like we've got another troll running through here that Robert took care of. Okay. Uh, no comfort llamas either. Okay. Some of these guys, I don't understand the context. Not sure. So let's see. Okay, we're going to shoot to the bottom. So I've got to go back up to the top and see where we are. Sheila B says no eggs at the local grocery store today. That dairy is starting. I mean, I told you guys the other day about going to the store and there was no milk. That's the second time this winter I've seen no milk in the store. Okay. And I've heard a lot of people talking about egg shortages. I've been in the stores and seen very little in the way of eggs on the shelves. You know, the worry that I have on the egg shortage is bird flu. Okay. And if you guys have heard this story, if you haven't, there is a chicken shortage in Asia. Okay. So Australia is obviously not Asia, but there's no chicken in Australia. Japanese can't get chicken. I didn't realize that it's like a Japanese tradition on New Year's Eve to have Kentucky Fried Chicken. Don't ask me. Okay. Certainly not a Japanese tradition. It's got to be something modern. But so there's a lot of the chicken is being sent to Asia. So they have something, of course, from here. And because they've got all the culling going on because of the bird flu. So that could have something to do with it too, you know, that we're shipping all the chickens and the eggs that way. Lori, what is a good, reliable radio to have if and when the power goes out and I need weather and communications? Well, this is where you come up with a whole bunch of, if you've got ham radio, that's a possibility. Okay. Shortwave radio, that's a good possibility. CB radio, that's a good possibility. Okay. Your little handheld walkie-talkies are not going to do you any good. And your two-way radios for that aren't going to do you any good because only be able to talk to the person on the other end. Okay. So you're going to need something where you can monitor other channels. CB, you should be able to monitor channel 9. There's also one for boats. I've got a boat radio that I can, you know, in an emergency or whatever, that's being monitored by out here, you know, Department of National Resources. You know, so there's different places you can go, but you're going to need a CB, a shortwave, or a ham radio for something like that. Or if it's just for weather, you can get yourself one of those little hand crank radios. Those things are like $12 on Amazon. Little hand crank radio. I mean, it's no more than about 9 inches big and maybe, you know, 3 inches square. Little hand crank radio, and you can tune into weather channels or listen to music or whatever you want. But the important part on that one is it's hand crank. So in case you lose, you don't have any more batteries, you still can power it up. Wrench 31E says, do not burn poison ivy. I know that better than you need to tell me. Trust me, I've been hospitalized because my sister-in-law did it 20 years ago. Not Mrs. P, my ex-wife's. Let's see, Charlene Smith, what is the 10-year rate today? Where can I find it? Okay, let me look it up. It is 10-year is 1.737. So we're back under 175. You can go to investing.com. All right. And then in the search bar, type 10Y, and the first thing that'll come up will be the United States 10-year bond yield. Okay. And then you can click on that from there. That's the easiest place to do it. Wow. Apocalyptic Lake Ferry, 25 to 35 below wind chill factor tonight. Okay. Get that fire going. Yeah, before they tell you you can't. Again, right now, you guys fireplace and everything, you're good. Sally Hartley, hi there. I have a question about your root cellar. My son wants to know how the cans don't rust and how do you keep the potatoes from going bad? Okay, well, first off, the cans are galvanized. Okay, they're galvanized trash cans, so that's fine. So that solves that problem easy. How do you keep the potatoes from going bad? Well, what you're doing when you're putting them in there, and you can do this with carrots or any types of root vegetables, onions you could do this with. but I mean, mine's all potatoes right now. But I put a layer of straw in, cover the bottom, put a layer of potatoes. No potatoes touch each other. Put another layer of straw, layer of potatoes. No potatoes are touching each other horizontally or vertically. And that way, if one potato goes bad, it won't rot the rest. Now, what you will find is that the potatoes will sprout eyes and everything like that. Not a big deal. I mean, potatoes they're not going to last forever, okay? But I still go out there, I grab some potatoes, usually grab 5-6 pounds a piece, keep them in the house for a week or so, and by the time we eat them, and then I'll go get more. And even if they're a little soft, not a big deal. You can still use them as long as they're not black, as long as they're not green. And I know I will have a very easy time chitting potatoes here in a couple of months to grow potatoes again, because they've all got eyes coming out all over the place on them. Works fine. Okay. You're not going to have the pretty potatoes like you get in the grocery store. Remember that. But we're not interested in prettiness. We're interested in food. KKR, did the box I sent, thank you for the super chat, by the way, did the box I sent you arrive? How do you get rid of wood with poison ivy on it if you can't burn it? Do me a favor, email me, because I don't know if the box arrived or not. I haven't been to the post office in a week, and I don't know. I don't remember seeing a card or anything like that had it on there, but I could be mistaken. So shoot me an email, and we can discuss that offline. To answer the question, how can I get rid of the wood with poison ivy on it if I can't burn it? Well, this is going to be real easy. I'm going to put the truck out. Mrs. P, who's not allergic to poison ivy, is going to pick up all the logs. They're not big ones. Put them in the back of the truck, and we're taking it right back where we got it and giving it back. And that's their problem to deal with, not mine. Because, if they burn it and the smoke blows here, I'm still screwed. But, I got to do something with it. Now, if I wanted to, I could use it in a hugelkultur garden, but I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to be anywhere around it. So that's kind of what I got there. Lily B, what are the best things to dehydrate? Anything that's got moisture in it. I mean, fruits are great to dehydrate. I mean, strawberries, pineapples, whatever. Ironically, what we use our dehydrator for most is fish. Okay. And I know that would make everybody go, why? But, dried fish is something Mrs. P loves. And so, if I go fishing and we've dehydrated bluegill and everything like that. It's like, hey, they go, fillet them out, throw them in the dehydrator, and she's got, like a fish jerky. But I mean, pick something. I mean, cucumbers or peaches or anything. I mean, anything that's got moisture in it, you can dehydrate it. I mean, and you're fine. Green peppers, you name it. And makes great for storage that way. Now, you can't just put water in it and have that nice crunchy green pepper again. But, if you have a soup that has green peppers in it or something like that, dehydrate some green peppers, make your own soup mixes. I mean, and I'll give you this, it's kind of a little sidebar on this one. But what I have found with my canning, okay, and granted, mind you, I'm no expert at it. We've been canning for a year, okay? But what we found is we like better canning the meal rather than the ingredients. So, for example, last night, with me not feeling well and everything like that, we had Mrs. P has some vegetable stew that she likes. I don't like eggplant, so, but we grew eggplant. We had it. She likes eggplant. So she had vegetable stew and I had borscht. Both of them would be very labor intensive to do, except all she had to do was go to the pantry, pull out 1 jar of each, dump each in a pot, heat it up, and done. Okay. Other than that, she'd have, if she was making them, she'd have been chopping vegetables for an hour. So, that we found. But if you're going to dehydrate something, find the recipes you're going to use and make up your own packets of Lipton soup mix. You need carrots and onions and green peppers and celery. Dehydrate it all, throw it in an envelope, put it in there, right on their vegetable soup mix or whatever, and then you're done. And then when you need it, you dump all that in at once, and it's a lot easier. My suggestion, but it's just something we found that works a lot better for us, because especially when summertime comes, we'll be outside. It's like, holy crap, it's time to go in. It's getting dark. It's 9 o'clock. We haven't eaten dinner yet. What do we do? Dump, and there's dinner in 10 minutes. So just something I do. That's it. Whether it works for you or not, that's up to you. Let's see. Dawn Marie says it's currently 13 degrees in Northeast Pennsylvania. Yeah, you're getting the cold that we had yesterday. Chrissy Weir, thought on smart guns. Well, I'd rather have a smart shooter than a smart gun, personally. Okay. As the old saying goes, my gun never killed anybody. And, it's this that does it. It's the person. It's not the gun. You don't blame the guns. Okay. But, the smart gun technology and everything like that, I don't care how much they do this, it will never be better than this brain. Okay. No matter how fast they ever get the computers going, it does not have the ability to rationalize and think logically. Okay. So, Romans 12:18, friend Pinball, try preparation H maybe, for poison ivy. Yeah, but I've heard that and I've tried it too. Doesn't work. Wow, Elizabeth Nelson, I just received a notice that someone was trying to file for unemployment under my name. Gee, what are the chances that they were an illegal? Nicole Antoine, Prid is a great prep. I don't know what Prid is. All natural drawing salve, bug bites, ingrown hair, boil slivers, like $5 a tin last year's. If you can put in there again, what is Prid? Is that the brand name or something like that? Because I've never heard of that. Cook and Sherry, I hope you save the ashes from the burnt paperwork for my garden. They're all in the fire pit right now. Fire pit we put sticks and stuff like that in there too. Yes, the ashes will go into my compost pile, not in the garden. And I'll give you this. There are some plants, root vegetables, like radishes, do not like potash at all or anything like that. So you're better putting your ashes in your compost pile or spreading it by plants specifically that like the potash, not just broadcasting it through your entire garden. I just put it in my compost pile. Let's see. Pet Prep Rep Radio Show. Suggestion for a show to watch. Not actually Patriot Nurse. That was posted earlier when you were whatever. It never ended. Oh, okay. All right. Thought Patriot Nurse was here under a pseudonym. But yeah, no, Patriot Nurse is definitely another good channel to watch. I'm Sherry, the organic pet lady. Okay, we got you. Okay. My apologies. Let's see, what do we got here? Wow, tuppence. Grow zone 1A here with 70 frost-free days per year. There's a challenge for you. Have you heard of a greenhouse? That's about your only option. I mean, if you've got 2 months of warm weather, 2 months is barely enough time to grow radishes, let alone anything else. Yeah, you have to do everything in a greenhouse or a hothouse of some sort. Yeah, where the hell do you live? The Arctic Circle? Santa Claus got to grow, carrots for the reindeer somehow, so I know something will grow. A Cushnet Prepper. Looks like I still have my Christmas tree up. Yes, we do. And the reason being is that we celebrated Christmas with my daughter here, and she didn't come in until the 5th. She just went home yesterday. So wasn't going to take, and Russian Christmas, Orthodox Christmas was January 7th. Now, granted, we still do it even though it's a religious holiday, but that's when my daughter can come, so we kind of play it as is. Okay. Wasn't going to take the tree down when she was here. She went home yesterday, so it'll come down sometime this week. No, I'm not one of those people that leaves Christmas lights on my house till July. So, Eleanor Mustang, did I see the report to the IRS warning of backlog tax returns? Yeah, that came out yesterday. I saw that. It was like, IRS is usually, they have about 1 million tax returns from the previous year they haven't processed yet. And those are, probably the corporate returns or something like that. Individuals not so much. But I guess this year they're completely backed up. But it makes sense because they extended tax season out so long last year. Then you had so many people that were working from home or couldn't work or quarantined or, whatever would be, wouldn't it be nice if the IRS just said, hey, you know what, for this year, screw it. Nobody pays taxes. Yeah, good luck. Do. Yeah, I saw somebody post their mandate link to follow. Obviously, only the mods and me can put links in here. Did you guys see that Quebec up in Canada now is talking about significant fines if you are not vaccinated? Canada, what the hell did you do by letting Trudeau win again? CE Gann, have you prepped motor oil, brakes, normal wear and tear items for your vehicles? Yes, and I talked about this, probably about 3 months ago or something like that. Told everybody, get extra oil, get oil filters, get wiper blades, get any parts that you need, air filters, whatever it would be. Because I got, at that time, I got the last 2 5-quart jugs of oil, and literally one was 0W30, and the other one I had to get was 5W30 because they don't have any more zero for our 2 vehicles. Got the last oil filters I could find. The auto parts store had the oil, no oil filters. Walmart had the oil filters, no oil. I saw a video of a guy the other day, I don't remember where he was trying to change his oil in his pickup, needed 6 quarts of oil, I think, or something like that. He had to go to 3 different Walmarts to find enough oil. Yeah, I mean, that's how crazy this is. And this is what we're going to get into. And people still refuse to believe it. I mean, with all the empty shelves that everybody has had to see, okay? And granted, there's still food in the store. We're not starving, anything like that. Okay, if you can't get turnips one week, okay, you don't care. If you can't get chicken of the sea, tuna fish, you don't care. You go buy something different, okay, whatever. But when it comes to a point, which is going to happen soon enough, where you're going to go, I want to go get some tuna, and there's no tuna, and there's no turnips, and there's no milk, and there's no eggs, and you're going to go, crap, now what? And there's no motor oil, and there's no power steering fluid, and there's no brake pads, and there's no windshield wipers. You're going, what do I do now? It's like, well, dumbass, you should have been listening to everybody else for the last 2.5 years. Robert says he did sweet potatoes in a bucket last year with good results. Okay, like I said, I've never done it. I do it differently, and I mean, I know some of my sweet potatoes are 12 inches long. Maryland Prepper Dad, did I get your email earlier? Well, probably. The only thing I'd say is this, guys, if your YouTube handle doesn't match your email address, I mean, obviously my email is pinballpreparedness@protonmail.com, and on here it says Pinball Preparedness, so it makes sense. But if your email says Maryland, or your screen name is Maryland Prepper Dad, and your email is bobsmith@gmail.com, I have no way of knowing it's the same. So I can't be sure if I did or not. Mark Webb says, Jace Medical is a great resource for a huge selection of antibiotics for your home health care. Okay, I knew that. I just wasn't sure if it was the one that I heard that was out of Fishmox. Let's see. Pet Prep Radio, topical. I guess this is going back to fleas. Topicals gave my dogs and cats seizures. I've never had a problem with it. I know that, what's the one Simpatico Trio or whatever it is, it's for flea sticks and heartworm. And I was like, oh, this would be good, instead of giving them to, until I saw the price of that stuff. I'm like, that ain't happening. It was like triple of what I'm already paying. So I was like, nope, okay, fine. You know what? I'll do the extra 15 seconds and put the stuff on their shoulder blades. Romans 12:18, excellent point. Get your extra boots and shoelaces. And I'll add on to that, guys, you can never have enough cordage. All right, go get some 550 cord. Go get some paracord. In a worst case scenario, you can use it as shoelaces. Okay, if you're one of these people that's going to worry about, oh, you know what, I can't put black and yellow shoelaces in my white tennis shoes, I'll look goofy in SHTF. If you're one of those people, start digging a hole. Okay, 6-foot hole, shovel, pillow, you're good. You're not going to care how you're tying your shoes at that point. But extra bootlaces, extra shoelaces, good. But I'd say just get more paracord, because you can always cut off a piece to use the shoelaces. Misty Woods reposting, what brand of greenhouse works best in Illinois? Have no idea. I've never had a greenhouse up there. The one thing I would say, though, is when there's a lot of places online that you can buy this stuff from, buy greenhouses or whatever it is. I would suggest, again, personal opinion here, suggest finding somebody local, or at least, if you're in Illinois, say a company that's in Indiana or Wisconsin or Iowa or something like that, for a couple reasons. One, at that point, their greenhouses are going to be suitable for your climate. You buy a greenhouse that's made down in Georgia, okay, it's going to be a total different type of plastic, everything like that, for what you need in Illinois. I mean, they get a lot more salt air, you get a lot colder weather. Y'all know there's some plastics that it freezes, you can just crack it in half. So I would suggest A, that reason, but B, if you're buying greenhouses online or something like that, the shipping of those posts will kill you. So make sure you don't have to have it shipped, or if you can go get it, that's even better. Lisa Devine, can I talk a little about worm castings and other amendments like chicken manure? Sure. Worm castings are great. If you can start your own worm farm, wonderful. The thing is, worm castings are very expensive, guys. Okay, you get a little bag like this, it'll cost you like $10. Okay, for the amount of gardens I have, I'd spend $1,000 filling, not filling, but putting it in there. So you want to attract worms into your bed, okay, into your flower beds, your vegetable gardens, whatever would be. So the easiest way to do it, okay, first off, you got to have good soil. Okay, good soil would have a lot of organic material, because that's what you're using to feed the worms. Okay, the worms are going to eat grass clippings and food scraps and cardboard and coffee grounds and all that sort of stuff. So you got to have a lot of that in your soil. So that's all your compost and stuff. If you've got plenty of that in your garden, when fishing season rolls around or whatever it is, go buy yourself a couple of fishing, little blue buckets. You get Red Wigglers or something like that. Throw them in your garden. You'd be amazed how fast they reproduce, and got worms all over the place. If you want to start a bathtub worm bin, okay, old bathtub or something like that, out backyard, whatever, put some dirt in there. You can just go out and dump all your kitchen scraps in there, and then you can collect the worm castings from it. Personally, I think that would be good if you're doing a lot of container gardening. But if you're doing a lot of gardening like I am, then I'd rather just have the worms in my garden, because they're going to help aerate my soil as well. Other things like chicken manure, rabbit manure, guinea pigs, you got hamsters, whatever it is. When you're cleaning those cages and taking out those droppings, put those in your garden. Put those in your compost pile. That stuff is awesome, okay? You put your guinea pig droppings in your compost pile, that'll supercharge your compost pile, because that is so high in nitrogen right there. you're getting that. That's going to speed up the composting of everything in there. So, biggest key that I'm going to talk on both of those things right there is you got to work on building up that organic matter. That best way to do it is your compost pile. And I know that's not going to do you any good for this spring because, all right, chances are if you're under snow or everything like that, it's a little hard to do it. But next year, when you're tearing out your tomatoes and tearing out your peppers and weeding the garden and mowing the grass and doing all this sort of stuff, raking leaves, taking all your kitchen scraps, build a compost pile. It's pretty easy, okay? Newspapers, cardboard, dried leaves, anything like that. Anything organic that is not meats, dairy, that sort of stuff can go in your compost pile. I know they're, like David the Good says, compost everything, okay? That's great. I don't feel like bringing in the wildlife into my backyard every night going, hey, look, you know what, because I got bears around here. It's like, I smell steak. Let's go dig through a compost pile and see if I can find a steak bone. And I got a mess. All right, so no. But yeah, the biggest thing with both of those, anything, build a compost pile. It's the most important thing you can do for your garden soil. Linda Carter, I use diatomaceous earth in my chicken's dust bath. It works great. Yeah, I mean, talk about killing any of the mites and the fleas and stuff like that get on chickens. Perfect. And we're going to shoot to the bottom again, and we get us back to the top. Okay, so I apologize when this happens, guys. There are some I miss. So if I've missed your question or something like that, throw it in again if you could. Colleen Avery says, don't forget your farms. A half cow will last a family of 4 for a year. Yeah, I'd say that probably be about right because Mrs. P and I got a quarter cow in 2020 and it didn't quite last us the full year. So this year we got a half a cow and that'll probably last us a year and a half. So I'd say, yeah, you're probably right. For a family of 4, probably a good year. Okay, Huffy Prepper says, thanks, I just knew it, so I won't go back to that shop. I don't understand the context. Deb Martin, Pinball, do you and Mrs. P use sweet potatoes, radish, and beet leaves for salad? Yes. Oh, absolutely. I'm growing your regular red radishes and daikons this year. And I mean, large plots of radish. I mean, we pickle radishes, everything, we use a lot of it. Sweet potatoes, a good thing for sweet potatoes. I've said this to you guys before. Sweet potatoes is an excellent, besides a superfood for us. But if we come to a point where you got to make your own dog food, sweet potatoes are excellent for your dogs. Okay. And beet leaves, we use some of them. But primarily we're after the bulbs because pickled beets and borscht and that sort of stuff. But yes, we do use them all. Just not as much of the leaves as the actual tubers. Let's see, where are we? North Dakota Prepper, I just look up my grow zone. I'm 3B. Yeah. So you are probably, I'm betting you aren't, your last frost date has got to be at the end of May. I bet you're probably not putting anything in the ground outside other than peas and cabbage and stuff like that until June. JME Greenhouse, see Leon's high tunnel greenhouse. Yeah, from everything I've heard, guys, you're better off going with a high tunnel than you are just with the regular greenhouse. From watching Deep South Homestead, from watching some of these other channels, everybody seems to rave about the high tunnels. At my height, it would make a lot of sense. I mean, I don't feel like bending over all over the place. But yeah, take a look, again, they ain't cheap. You're gonna drop 10 grand on a decent sized greenhouse, guys. So just so you know that. Rooster, Canada putting warning stickers on Bibles says this book has myths in it. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit yesterday. That I guess the Canadian government is saying that the part where the Bible's talking about 2 genders that's now a myth, according to the Canadian government. We had Adam and Eve, and Steve and Fred and Beelzebub and, who the hell, Prince and the Symbol, or, who knows what was out there. But Canada's gone to hell, guys. I feel for you guys that live there. I mean, as messed up, we'll keep my language clean, as California is, Canada's tenfold worse. I cannot believe the idiocy that's coming out of that once great country. Charlie Knoll, don't forget inner tubes for your truck tires. Get a lot more life out of your bald tires. It's a good point. Never thought of that one. Yeah. It'd be interesting trying to find inner tubes. The problem that you'd have at that point is I don't know. There's no way in the world I'd be able to get my tire off my truck or get the bead back on it. That's the hard part. You do it with a bicycle tire and a butter knife. That was difficult enough. I can't see doing it with 20-inch tires. All right. Wolfang says, look at the food in bags. The bags are smaller now. Oh yeah, shrinkflation is a real deal. And like Don Marie says, I think things are going to get a lot worse. Yeah, there's no question. We're in trouble, and we're putting a bandage on a bullet wound here, guys. And the government has no idea what to do. I mean, they're just at a complete loss. And so at this point, they're just kind of throwing their hands up in the air and said, we're just going to write it out and see what happens. Let's not worry about the economy. Let's not worry about, any of this. Let's go discuss things like pronouns, and let's worry about the Russians going into Ukraine as opposed to the Mexicans coming into Texas. The Biden administration has just thrown their hands up everywhere because they're like, we can't do anything. We don't know what to do, because they haven't got a solution for anything. I mean, the big talk right now is let's bust the filibuster. Really, that's the most important thing you have to talk about right now. The voting, what affects them directly, whether or not they get voted in or not. That's what's most important to them. The other thing they're after, we've got to, these Republicans can't run again because they supported January 6th, and so therefore they're committing treason, so they're not eligible to run for election anymore. That's what's most important to them right now. Not the housing problem, not the food problem, not the supply chain problem. What's most important to them is voting and voting, how they can keep their job. Think about that. That's what they're worried about. They ain't worried about you and me. They're worried about themselves. Always have been, always will. HB, American Eagle versus other 1-ounce coins. Is there a reason why it costs more? Better to have one or the other. Okay, I'll give you this. American Eagles and Canadian Maple Leafs, yes, they are more expensive. Why? Because they're highly sought after by collectors. Okay? The rest of the stuff is just 1-ounce rounds. Me as a prepper, I'm not a coin collector. Okay? I'm stacking silver to protect my money. Okay? Protect myself in case of inflation, in case the economy blows up, I've got something of value. I buy the generic coins, whichever one's cheapest. I don't care what's on it. When I'm ready to buy, if the one with the buffalo is the cheapest, if the one that says Sunshine Printing's cheapest, if the one with, an American Eagle's the cheapest, that's the one I'm buying. I don't care. I'm buying for the silver content, not the design. Okay. Collectors don't care about the silver content on the generic coins. They want the Maple Leafs. They want the Eagles, the American Eagles. They want the Philharmonics. They want the collector series type ones. Okay. As a prepper, it depends. And this is a decision you make for yourself. As a prepper, I think you buy for silver content. If you want to be a collector, then go that way. You can do a little bit of both too. Just know at the end of the day, 1 ounce of silver is 1 ounce of silver. And if you're going to be using this currency in SHTF, the guy you're using it to buy from ain't gonna care a rat's ass what design is on there. Okay, he's gonna give you whatever the price of silver is worth for it. Comrade Radio Prepper says the chicken shelves are empty at Walmart near me. Yep. Maverick B USA, working auto parts. People come in and have no idea why parts are on back order. I told you guys a story probably near a year ago where when I was in the mechanic getting my truck fixed, and he was telling me about Chrysler products that was it oil pans or something like oil plugs. I forget. There was something to do with the oil pan. There were like 60,000 of them on back order. They were saying it was going to be 6 to 9 months, and this was a year ago. Okay, I can't imagine. David Williams, thank you for your wonderful helping with connecting with fellow patriots. As always, love and respect for the great state of Mexico. Blah, blah, blah. There we go. You are most welcome. Glad you guys got that taken care of. Robert Rash, what helped you most with the poison oak? Really look up to you. Prednisone. I mean, that's it. It's getting the steroid shot, or and then taking the pills. That's it. And then of course getting the Benadryl. I told you guys that story. But yeah, if you can go into your doctor, if you get poison ivy, okay, and this is what I'm going to do. Next time I go see my doctor, I'm going to ask her for a script for prednisone, just in case. And I've got a perfectly good story this time, because when I realized I had it, it was on Saturday, and your office was closed, and so the only way I could get prednisone was to go to the emergency room, which of course cost the VA $670, okay, for the emergency room visit, for them to stick a shot in my butt. But they were saying, well, you can wait till Monday. No, by Monday I would have been admitted to the hospital if I didn't have the stuff. I know how I get this, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to ask my doctor if she'll give me one so I can keep it in my preps. Frank B's, prep on seeds, people. Some seed companies are sold out or low on seeds. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of them. As I was looking through for some, just cruising around, I was playing with my garden planter yesterday and looking to see, but I was trying to find daikon radishes because I didn't have any seeds for it. There were a lot of places that were out. Rob Anderson, I think Trudeau should have a myth sign on his back. Yes. Oh, crap. I went over 9 o'clock. Okay, I'm stepping on Jason's toes. I don't want to do that. All right. Last one, beers and the boys. Yeah, you got the hen house and the pen done today, so I got to bring my hens home. Well, good deal, okay? So at least you got some chickens and some eggs. All right, guys. Sorry about running over. My apologies to Jason, but probably see you over there here in a little bit. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good evening. Pinball out.